Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so obviously if you're clicking this video or you have been on YouTube in the last, like 24, 48 hours, you are aware of what has happened with ImAllexx, a content creator on this platform who does drama and commentary. We had his ex Alice speak out, and by the way, her Twitter will be linked down below. Please go and send her all the love and support. This is her Twitter right here. I will, have it down below. So Alice spoke out against ImAllexx's and had this big Google Drive with, it detailed a lot of really, really, really bad stuff that ImAllexx's was subjecting her to in their relationship and when they would break up, and it was terrible. I also want to clarify that there have been a couple other people that have now spoken out as well about ImAllexx's, and while I want to come on here and update you with it all, it's a lot to process, I'm going to be honest, for anyone reading it, and I think I'm trying to process all the information and then come and tell you it rather than like jumping the gun. I did see a lot of people commenting, and I had a lot of people reaching out to me on my different communities, that when Alice had done the Google Drive, which we see right here, which basically detailed everything from, we're aware of like the statements that had all of the text messages. We went through this. We had the videos that we went through, just really, 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 really bad stuff that we had gone through. There was also this audio clip, which is titled, "It Wasn't Your Fault." And it was an audio message that ImAllexx's had sent Alice. And I kind of skimmed through it in my video. And I'm going to be honest, the reason I did that was because, as we're aware, this stuff is heavy. And it's a lot to process even when you're not involved, that I can't even imagine the strength of the people that are speaking out, which is why I want to continue highlighting, going and sending the people that are speaking up love, because it's very fucking hard to speak up in general, but also when you have the wrath of a big YouTube community, a big YouTube community that, already love and support the person you're speaking out against. It's hard. So I skimmed through this just because it was hard to listen to, and it was an audio clip that ImAllexx's had sent after everything had went down, and it was his way of being like, this is all my fault, it wasn't your fault. And because I had skimmed through it, a lot of people were saying that they wish that we had actually just sat through it and gone through it. And I hear you, and I agree with you, and we're going to do that today. If we're going to tell the story, we may as well tell the full story, not skipping any details, no matter how intense they are to go through. I agree with you. I hear your comments. The reason I had skipped through it was just because it's scary to listen to voice memos where you're listening to someone who is very manipulative and narcissistic. But anyway, I understand the reasons why people wanted me to cover this as well. So we are going to go through that. I read your comments. I go through them. I appreciate that. Camera being so misbehaved today. I understand the reasons that people would want to go through this. I do think it's an important part of the story, and I apologize for skipping through it instead of listening to the full thing. It was just a lot that we had gone through in that first video, and it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff. But again, it's a very privileged thing to be able to sit here and be like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. It's too heavy, when we weren't the ones that went through it. So I also don't want to be doing a disservice to the people that are speaking out by me being like, oh, well, I don't know if I can handle listening to that. It's a very ignorant and also very selfish thing, because it didn't happen to us in this specific instance. So for us to kind of be like, oh, I don't know if I can listen to the entire thing. Someone had to live through this, and it's important to talk about, and it's important to recall the entire situation. So we're going to go through it. Again, I appreciate your comments. Here's Alice's Twitter. Be pinned down below. Please go and send support. I think it's always very important when people speak up that they feel the support, because there's a lot of internal things they're going through already by speaking up, and then public perception is crazy. So let's go through it. Let's listen to this audio file in its entirety of ImAllexx's basically begging his way back to Alice, who he had done all these things that we had very clearly a lot of evidence for. Let's get to it.
Sorry, my phone cut off. It wasn't acceptable behavior, like in any way, shape, or form. It was insane. Like I guess I've just been stuck in that cycle for so long that I felt like I could do no wrong. I felt like I was the fucking, oh, look at me, I do all this fucking work and I do everything. And
you are a commentary YouTuber. What do you do, quick?
Nobody's appreciative and...
Nobody's appreciative of what? Your JoJo Siwa videos? We're up here, we need to be down here. Oh my god, the entitlement of these people. Also, the amount of justifying his behavior he does by saying that, but I work really hard as a YouTuber. What do you do? You watch some of Alphaba's TikToks? Hard day at the office.
I know you appreciated it, and I know that you appreciated the effort that I used to put in. And then I just stopped because I had you, and you're my girlfriend, and we lived together, and the more further we got through our relationship, the less effort I put in. And if it wasn't for you leaving, I might never, ever have changed my ways. I might have just continued on like that.
This is also a very common thing that people do, where they will... Sorry, I was just sorting something out. It's also something that these people will do where they will push the other person to the edge, and the other person has the courage to leave, and then the original person realizes that they don't have the power anymore, so they'll be like, okay, but now I've changed. Now I understand from you leaving. I understand from you leaving why what I was doing was wrong. And I've changed. Even though this voice memo could have been from 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 months, 3 years, later. It doesn't matter the time frame. This is a very common thing that these kind of people do, which is they will pass off the blame to their older self. I'm changed now. You made me realize that I was in the wrong. You taking yourself away made me realize that I need to change. And then in a lot of ways, the person will come back and then the cycle will continue. It'll be great for 2 weeks and then the cycle will continue again. And then the person will leave and then they'll get this again. And it's a common thing. And in a lot of cases, it works.
At the end of the day, the only thing that's important is that I didn't listen to you. You were right. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. I
also wonder how ImAllexx is going to respond to this, because he has two options here that a YouTuber would go down, which is number one would be trying to expose the other person, right? However, that's not necessarily going to work when we have a voice audio of you saying, okay, you didn't do anything wrong, I was the one in complete wrong. Or the other option is he comes forward and he admits everything. And I think at this stage there's so much information out there.
Possible to work with. I didn't make it easy. I constantly thought inwards about myself and not about you and what was going on. I didn't make any attempts to change. I didn't make any attempts to fix my life. I made excuses. And it got to the point where I wanted to be alone, because if I was alone, nobody could tell me that I was fucking up and that I was doing anything wrong. And for the first week that you weren't here, I just spent the entire week doing nothing. And after that week, I realized just kind of how fucked up my life was, and I have made attempts to try and fix it.
You weren't even filming your high-effort YouTube videos that time?
I have a schedule, I take out the bins, I look after the cats.
I said this in my first when I skimmed through this. It's crazy how in a voice memo, he's like, I've changed, I have a schedule now. I take the bins out, I look after the cats. Two things that are very normal to do, by the way. I know he's trying to make this point of I'm changed, I've done such a good job with myself, but the things that he just listed are looking after your cats is the bare minimum. And if it's such an effort to look after your cats, maybe you shouldn't have any. Free the cats.
You know, I'm like a functioning person. I go out for my bike ride. I've been sorting out my doctor's appointment, even though it's bloody hard in the middle of fucking nowhere. I am just like so frustrated because I've been doing all of that, but then I've been getting on with you, and instead of like apologizing, I've been trying to just be like, oh no, look, I'm good now. Like, I'm perfectly fine now. I'm like a person. Everything's great. And I realise that must come across as like so dismissive to you. Or also like, why?
I know he's crying, fucking womp womp. But at the start of this, didn't he literally say that like her leaving, he's now realized he's like a better person? But now he's saying that I understand whenever I say that I'm a better person, like you're like, what? Like what? What?
Why is he doing that stuff now? Why is he being like this now? Why couldn't it have been like this back then? And then you get upset or angry, which is fine and understandable. Or I do something to upset and anger you, like following some fucking idiot on Twitter or Instagram, some woman. And,
some woman.
Yeah, you must think like, oh, this guy's like, he's just a fucking cunt. And he's being a cunt, and he's not stopping being a cunt, and he's not gonna apologise for what I did, and he's not gonna try and make it work with me. He just kind of wants me to be here. He doesn't want to lose me. I was trying to be like too cool and nonchalant at points, and then I would let it slip how uncool and how not well I was taking everything, and by that I mean my behaviour. I haven't been lashing out at you because of the fact that you left me. I've been lashing out at you because of the fact that I didn't fix my stuff. And I think what's worse, I'm being completely honest here, because I don't want to leave anything off the table at this point, is that, like, I generally had a conversation, like, with my friends a few months ago just about, like, how much I feel like, you know, I've just, like, I don't feel good about myself, and I hadn't, and I would wake up a lot of the times when I was with you, and I'd think, I knew that I, like, didn't deserve to still be with you.
Also a very common thing that people in this instance will say when they're trying to claw their way back is what he just said. I didn't deserve you. How did I deserve you? How did I get so lucky? These are all kind of variations of a very commonly done thing in this instance. Oh my god, I don't know why. Things like this are said very often, which, you know, try to like get you back. Oh my god, I don't know. Sorry. There was a reason that I didn't want to listen to this in its full. I'm going to be honest. We won't get into that. But there's a very common tactic, which is, you know, you being away from me has made me realize that I was so lucky, or you being away from me has made me realize that I didn't deserve you, or something like this. It's just a very commonly unfortunate said thing to kind of like sweet talk or like kind of like change the narrative, and it's just like, it's so frustrating to hear someone say it because it is a very, very, very manipulative thing to say.
And instead of fixing it, I was just like, oh, I've already fucked it anyway. I became worse. Like, I sabotaged it. And it was intentional, because I knew that I was being shitty. And I just thought, oh, it's already too late. and it's really fucking piss poor. Obviously, it wasn't as clean cut as that. A lot of this stuff has been really complicated to work out, you know, because I blow hot and cold. You've seen me. I'm apologising 1 minute, shouting the next. Angry 1 minute, please come here, hold me.
Which is exactly what this is, by the way.
It's like, I just feel like I've been really battling through this very weird thing. Also, you know, with issues we'd have, you did this. Oh, wait, no, I see you didn't. It's okay, don't worry about it, forget about it. But it doesn't matter. I opened up a wound, and it scars, and the scar is always there. Just because I feel okay about it now doesn't mean that you did. And when I used to say stuff about, like, why can't we just move on? It's because I felt like I felt like I was comfortable. And I didn't make the effort to see if you were. And if you weren't, because I was, I didn't understand why you couldn't be. Now, I don't really know what that is.
Neither do we.
But I know that it's wrong. And I know that I knew of it. And to be honest, I thought that at a certain point, when I was sleeping on the sofa and stuff, I convinced myself that that's what you wanted. You obviously didn't. So I'm not saying you wanted it and I did it. As in, I convinced myself because I was making an excuse for myself. Not as in, I was doing it for you. I don't mean any... If I say anything along those lines, that's not how I mean it. I wasn't doing it for you. I was doing it for me. It was easier to avoid you. I wasn't putting the effort in. Because you obviously had said, like you have on this, like, give me time to come back, talk properly, apologise. I need time to process stuff. And I wasn't doing it. And then I started doing it almost like out of spite. Like,
is he listening to himself? What is he fighting for? What is he fighting for here? He's openly acknowledging that he's miserable in this relationship, that she's miserable in this relationship, but he so desperately needs it back. Why? Would it have anything to do with the fact that he brings up that he's a famous celebrity so often, that he is a power play here? Would it have to do with that? That he feels superior? Does it have to do with that?
Like, I started doing it being like, oh, yeah, well, I'm sleeping on the sofa now. Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this what you wanted me to go away?
Putting the blame on her, by the way.
It was like self-pitying, self-absorbed bullshit. And, yeah, it's just really, like, fucked up thing to do to you at the end of the relationship. So I know why you left, because at that point, there was, like, no love. At least I wasn't showing it anyway. A kiss when you're playing League probably was more annoying than anything, because you know I was probably doing it to avoid our problems. You know, I got too reliant on you putting me in my place and then you forgiving me. Like, it just became a cycle. I allowed you to be the fixer-upper of our relationship, and it wasn't right, you know? And then I made everything worse. There's so much more that I could go into detail about and talk about. I don't know. Really, like, there's a lot. It's sometimes, like, hard to keep on track and, you know, but I feel like, right, like, you know, that's something that I wanted to say on top of everything. I just want to make it really clear that, like, it's, like, it was me. And anything that I said before in any argument, I have looked back at all of them. I went back and read them. I read old iMessages from us from the beginning of the...
We've read them too.
I could see how I caused everything. Jealous about you playing games with your friends because I wanted you to dedicate your life to me. You know, not in a fucking weird way. I just, like, I wanted to run off into the sunset with you. I was madly in love. But probably... You know, I had, oh, fuck, my toe. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ow, fucking hell. I was madly in love, and,
Sorry.
I wanted to just fucking keep you as my own. I didn't want anybody else.
Keep you as my own, and didn't want anyone else to have you.
And Yeah, it's fucked up because, like, now I understand it. Like, when I started playing games with my mates, I didn't have...
I don't know how he's going to respond to this. Like, this voice memo will contradict anything that he says moving forward. Like, if he ever passes the blame onto them or says that it's a mutual blame. I mean, this entire voice memo is him saying, you're not the issue, I am the issue.
At the time, I was just working, like, I was jealous.
Oh my god, I can't believe how draining this must have been for Alice. Like, listening to this is so draining from an outsider's point of view.
I wanted to be involved because my friends had stopped playing games ages ago. Like, it didn't really talk, like, everybody had moved away. Like, at the time we met, the only thing I had going was making YouTube videos and you. And, you know, that's why for the first, like, 3-4 months, like, I was just, like, constantly obsessed. And then I did try to make it more healthy. That's why I started playing games with my friends. But even then, like, I started to do that at the point where I should have been giving you more attention. Like, I was doing everything in the wrong order. And for the wrong reasons. And I am deeply sorry for that. And I just wanted to make that clear that I can see every single direction where I went wrong. And obviously there's more stuff that upset you. You know.
Why doesn't he just leave her alone?
You know, my behaviour recently, like after that, you know, that's just a horrible misplace of my own ego. Like, I have wanted you to run back to me, and I wanted you to, you know, be forgiving. I wanted you to just kind of go, yeah, that's good enough, Alex, you've tried, or...
I've wanted you to be forgiving, even though a couple minutes previous, he acknowledged the fact that it was always her forgiving him. So what is it? Literally, what is it? He's just contradicting himself.
And you did do that. It's the worst part, is you did do that. And at the time, I wanted so much more. I was, like, so desperate for you to just, like, fucking come back home. That anything else that wasn't that just made me so frustrated because, you know, I felt like it was slipping away, but not just that. I felt like, you know, I even said to you, like, I'm worried that I haven't got to a place. I was still being vicious and lashing out at you and being angry. But I was, like, using it as, like, an excuse to fucking do it. Being like, look, I might do it. Like, it was like, it was blackmail. Like, I was being like, you should call me, because if you don't call me, you're going to lose the apology. I'm going to be all angry. And it's because I couldn't control my emotions at all.
Just threatening. Okay, nice.
I wasn't trying to. I wanted to. I felt like anytime you pulled away, I wanted to just burn everything down. That was just where my brain went to.
Bash her head against a fucking wall, to quote you.
And, yeah, obviously, I'm not at that place anymore. But I was for like 4 fucking months, so that's way too long. Obviously, there are points where I was doing better, but I wanted you to move at my pace. And obviously, I was sprinting because I did know the damage I'd done. So I was trying to push you too fast and further than you wanted by showering you in gifts and sending you messages and trying to call you and
sending you gifts and calling you basically the effort you should be putting in. But also this thing about gifts, it's like he's just using this like YouTube money thing to hold it over her head.
Being like, let's meet up and all of that. I should have done it all in the first week. I'm really deeply sorry that it took me this long to really reflect properly on everything. I was still victimizing myself.
And clearly still are.
And I should not have made that even more of an issue for you. Just really, I really wasn't responsible. I wasn't being responsible, I mean. Because I was responsible, but I wasn't being responsible for...
So much heavy breathing.
And, you know, I can't believe that I was, you know, how I was thinking. I'm sorry that this is super long on top of everything I've already sent you. I'll cut it here and wait for you to respond, and then, you know, maybe I'll send more or whatever. I just want you to know that it's not your fault. And it wasn't your responsibility to fix me. And it wasn't your responsibility. Like, I only came to this conclusion because I had to do it myself. Like, I had to go through this to get to this point.
What is it with these, like, insecure, awful men needing girlfriends to mother them? Oh my God.
To figure this out. You didn't have to. You didn't have to be a part of this. You didn't have to have this happen. I should have done this in my own time, on my own accord. But I chose to bury my issues before fixing them. But it's not you. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong.
Again, I don't know how he's going to address any of this, if he's going to pass on the blame, because this is...
You tried your best. It's nothing to do with you. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you're lesser or because you have issues. It's not because of that. Like, you were fine. It's not because you... It's not because of you. It's nothing to do with you. You were so open with me about so many things. I knew how you felt about all the stuff that I used to make excuses as to why you...
Okay, he literally said at 15 minutes that he was going to wrap this up.
Sorry. Like, I knew how you felt about everything. We spoke about everything. We covered everything. We buried everything. We'd have conversations about everything. It took me to meet your friends to stop being a fucking bitch about them. That's not acceptable. You shouldn't have been a bitch about them in the first place. They were lovely people. I trusted them. Obviously, the recent stuff was kind of sucks, but that wasn't your fault. And, you know, you did actually tell me, and you were upfront and honest about it, which is more than I could say for how I've been. And instead, I used that to call you a liar. So I understand why you, you know, I understand it's my fault why we have a lot of all of the issues. Sorry, not a lot. I'm not trying to let myself get off the hook. All of them. And with work and stuff, I know that you're just trying to enjoy it. And I was making it unenjoyable for you because I wasn't having fun. So I believed that everybody else shouldn't have fun and that you shouldn't have fun. And that I convinced myself that life is miserable and life is fucking putting up with stuff. And, you know, I just remember moments with you where I was my happiest. And, you know,
I normally feel emotion when I hear people crying, but...
just me and you just lying there together. And, you know, it should have been that all the time. And when we got bare, or you got bare, sorry, still doing it, you know, just how happy I was for you, because I thought it would help you heal. But I was right there just making stuff worse. I made them, you know, even your relationship with the cat, like, I was upsetting you. And because I was being selfish and being like, why doesn't she, you know, I was like, why doesn't she want to share the cat with me? And it's because of the way that I was acting.
Jesus Christ.
And I knew that, by the way, it's not, I didn't just figure that out. Like, I knew that back then. I was like, of course she's going to take the cat away from me. I'm being a dick. Why would she want a cat near me? She doesn't want the cat to be attached to me because she probably wants to leave. And I felt that at the time, and instead of doing anything about it, I just fucking moped and sulked like a fucking child.
What are you doing now? Quick.
I'm sorry for getting emotional. I'm just really angry at myself. Because you were the best. And I was the fucking... Oh, God. But you were... You know... And even all the way back to when you said that stuff about the bipolar disorder. And I was mean. I read that text the other day. And I'm so angry. Like, why was I like that to you? I know what I meant at the time, but I was making it about me. And you said that, you knew that. And I did apologise back then. But I didn't change any behaviour. Like, I saw you say that and I thought, oh, that's an excuse for why she doesn't text me. That's an excuse for why she doesn't want to talk to me. Because I was down your throat. And in reality, you were just trying to say it's not my fault and I'm doing my best. But instead I thought you were using it because I was so...
Oh my God, this is brutal! I cannot imagine, like, having to go through all this in private. Fucking hell. So, in the fight you guys were having over following people, was it that you were cheating? I struggle to understand the concept. And Alice says he was following girls that he had relations with previously. Okay, so basically just like... God, so that's what that was.
I convinced myself that like... You were out of my league and that I didn't deserve you. And also that I was going to fuck it up. I'd convinced myself that you were always looking for a way out. When in reality, you just wanted me to be normal. You didn't want my money. You didn't want anything from me apart from me to just be what I could be all the time. And I'm so sorry, Alice. I'm so sorry. I let you down. And, I don't deserve to be forgiven. I don't deserve anything. I should be held accountable for my mistakes. To you, it was wrong. And I'm sorry, but it's taken you to do everything in your power to really make me understand it. I really held on to the last minute to not do this. Like, I tried my best to avoid this. And I don't know why, because if I'd have done it, if I'd have actually just truly been like, I fucking suck, I just didn't want to admit it because honestly, I had convinced myself that my ego was the only thing that was keeping me going. I'd convinced myself it was the only reason I was working. I convinced myself it was the only reason why I could get anything done. And that if I didn't have my ego, then I wouldn't be able to work. And I'd give up on everything. And I'd quit. And then, you know, I'd give up on life and I'd just be this fucking mopey loser. When in reality, I think if I'd have just given up on everything, I would have been happy with you. But instead, I convinced myself that this fucking terrible behaviour was powering me like a fucking machine. And I told myself that without it, I would not be able to work and make myself do stuff because I beat myself.
So, without harassing, belittling, threatening violence on your ex-girlfriend or girlfriend at the time, you wouldn't be able to film your shitty little YouTube videos? Oh, Jesus Christ. What kind of fucking excuse is that? He's basically saying, I needed to do this so I could empower myself.
Myself up all the time to work. I don't do it for fun. I wasn't doing anything out of enjoyment. I was doing it like, I've got to fucking do this. If I don't do this, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to fuck stuff up. Nobody's going to want to be around me. Nobody's going to be friends with me. But in the process, I was just pushing you away. And Like, you said it the other day that you'd rather have nothing and be happy than have everything and be miserable. And, you know, I would do anything in the world to have absolutely nothing right now apart from you. I would trade all of this, everything here, because it's worth nothing. It's not worth fucking anything. It's just built on being miserable. You're the only thing I had that I actually enjoyed. And I convinced myself that somehow that loads of it was fake and wrong. And I used it to hurt you. I'm going to leave this here.
Thank fucking Christ. It's just brittle. It's brittle that Alice had to receive that, had to listen to that, had to sit on that for so long. And also it's terrifying how many people probably get things like this from people and don't want to take it public, so then don't get the support of knowing that this isn't right. So if you're in a similar situation or you have been through this as well, obviously this is not me saying going public, like if you don't want to, but I'm just saying, like, please know that this isn't normal behavior and this is not your fault. It is not your responsibility to mother someone. It is not your responsibility to fix someone. Oh my God. It was awful. It was awful. Okay, well, I'm glad I listened to it because now I have like everything of the story from Alice's point of view. We'll talk about it down below. I'll see you in my next one, and goodbye.